Welcome back to another episode of Driven in Her Purpose. I'm Rosie Leonore, and every now and again, I'd like to do audio recordings versus video recordings, and this is one of those episodes where you will hear an audio. And this episode right here is going to be a really amazing one. I can't wait for you to hear it. I share with you from the bottom of my heart some of the things that I've been going through and lessons that I'm learning. And I pray that this encourages you and inspires you to do the same. Make those changes in your life you need for better improvement of health, better quality of life, just like I have been learning in my own life. So ladies, enjoy. Hello, my beautiful, wonderful sisters. I am so happy that you can join me today. I wanted to catch you up on my life, and I wanted to just share with you some things that I've been learning over the last week. And it has been eye-opening this last week. Eye-opening. I think that's probably the best word. So it really started when I had my interview with Blondie Moore, who is a life coach and speaker and self-care coach. If you didn't get to check out that episode, please, I beg you, please do so. It is a life-changing episode. I am telling you. I can tell you that at least for me, it was. And I am and forever will be grateful for Blondie's amazing advice, because I went and took it and I applied it to my life this week. First of all, that experience was eye-opening because I thought that I was doing better in my self-care. I really thought that I was doing better. And sure, yeah, I was doing better than maybe in the last few years with certain things, right? Certainly taking care of my skin, taking better care of my body as far as things that I eat, and definitely in my morning stretches, my 5 to 10 minute morning stretches that I do before going to work most days of the week. And I was doing that actually every day for several months, but now it's most days. And my weekly power walks with my daughter at the park. I can say that I had definitely an improvement for sure. But after completing this workbook, after taking time to pray about it, to pray through it, after getting some live coaching with her, I just saw, wow, I have a long way to go. So I'm here to share with you all that I have some plans in place in order to make my self-care a priority, my temple care, my body care, the care for the body that God has given me, in which the Spirit dwells, something in which I must treat so special. I really must give my body, which is God's body, love. And I decided it's time to stop treating this as an option, and it's time to make it mandatory. I'm noticing that for me personally, sleeping is one of the main things I have to work on. Main things. I have to get at least 7.5 hours of sleep every night. I was doing 7, but 7.5 is what really works for my body. And 8 even better. 8 I strive for on the weekends. I realized actually that if I really want to get sleep, and thank you to my husband who's been telling me this for several times, and I've been listening but not really. So baby, I know you're listening to the podcast because you always give me support. Thank you so much. Thank you. I want to say thank you to my husband because he is my biggest supporter of self-care. He's constantly reminding me, take a nap if you need to, get some sleep. I'll take care of our little girl. I'll do this. I'll wash the dishes. Like, ladies, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get off topic here, but I have the best husband ever, and I'm so grateful for him. Okay, well, with that said, let's get back to the topic. But I am so grateful because between my husband's constant reminding me and Blondie's coaching and this workbook that she was able to provide through a workshop, I have already have the steps in place. So it involves a lot of different things, but the main things are sleeping more, being consistent with, getting back to consistency with my morning stretches, because I had kind of stopped for a little while. So now I'm back to doing them 3 times a week minimum. So I did that this week, 3 times a week, because the other 2 days are more hectic, not hectic in a bad way, but just I have less time. So 3 times a week has been better than nothing for sure. And then just taking time to relax before I interact with my daughter. I've been able to go to my bedroom and just close my eyes for 10 or 15 minutes. And that has reset my brain, my head, my my mind. It has helped me have a better attitude. It's helped me to be better prepared to be with her. It's helped me a lot. So one of the main reasons that I'm taking it even more seriously now, taking my self-care more seriously, is because of my health. So a few weeks ago, something happened to me. I woke up one morning, I was doing my quiet time, reading my Bible, and I kid you not, ladies, when I tell you this, I was reading the scripture that says, and you ladies may be familiar with it, my strength is made perfect in weakness, where Paul says, my strength is made perfect in weakness, where he was begging God to take away the thorn in his flesh, and God was like, no. He's like, no. And he's like, well, the good in that is that in his weakness, he is strong. In when I am weak, I am strong. And that's the one that I was reading. And this was in Corinthians, that after I finished reading, literally like right after I finished reading, within like a few seconds, the room started spinning. I was like, what is going on here? I had a vertigo. And I had to call in to work. I couldn't go into work that day. I went to the urgent care because my doctor didn't have room to see me that day, but they said, just go to urgent care. They cleaned out my ears thinking it was earwax. Wasn't that. So then I went home. I was actually feeling a little better after that, but then I went back to having the vertigo. The next day I went to work, and then there I had another vertigo session, but this time I had a vertigo, I don't know if you call it session, whatever you call it, medical term, but I had vertigo again, and I took a medication that the urgent care gave me to calm down the dizziness. So I did, and then within, 30 minutes, it was much better. Now, of course, I was drowsy because unfortunately that's one of the side effects. And so anyway, I took that. I felt a little better, but I was still not well. I went to the ENT because I called my doctor's office, and they said, you know what, go to the ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor. So I went to the ear, nose, and throat doctor, and they basically diagnosed me with vestibular neuritis. And basically what happens, if you're not familiar, you have 2 days, pretty much 1 or 2 days of vertigo, and then you spend either the next few days or the next few weeks. It's really unpredictable how much time it takes, but you still feel like lightheaded. You won't get the vertigo again, but you still feel kind of off balance and lightheaded. And so that's what was happening with me. That's why I went to ENT, because I was like, okay, I'm not much better. Well, that's what happened. So it would go away naturally on its own, really. But I have to pretty much wait. And so, but I thought it was over, because within a few days I was feeling much better. I was able to drive again. I thought things were pretty much back to normal. I at least felt 90% better for sure. And then one morning, and this was last weekend, one morning I woke up, and within 2 hours I had not vertigo, but just another session. Let's keep calling them sessions, but of off balancedness. I don't know if you call that, but just not feeling balanced, you know? So I ate, mind you, I'm taking the proper precautions. I'm eating, making sure there's no low blood sugar, whatnot. And it still wouldn't go away. So I realized something. I made a connection. You know, I was doing much better, but I also realized when I was doing much better, I slept better. I slept more hours. It wasn't perfect, but I was sleeping better. This evening, I didn't sleep well. And I thought I could sleep in a little bit, but my body woke me up earlier than I even wanted to, and I didn't sleep well. So this thing started, and what the connection I made is this. Especially since this whole thing is not really over yet, it seems for me, I really see the need for sleep. Like I see the need to stop and rest your brain in the middle of the day, and also to get at least your 8 hours sleep, 7.5 hours sleep. I know a lot of our bodies are different. Some of us can handle less, some of us need more, but at least for me, 7.5 hours. And that's what I'm noticing about myself. And so these are the things that I'm learning. Your lack of sleep will catch up to you. Your crazy schedules will catch up to you. Your lack of taking time outs for you will catch up to you. And I'm the type of person that goes. And until I'm exhausted, I don't stop. And that's just, I've always been this way my whole life, I think. And so I'm just nonstop. And so what I'm learning is I need to stop. I need to keep stopping. I need to keep stopping. Like I can't just keep going the way I have been for all my life. And, you know, I want to take a moment to plead with you ladies. If you're not caring for your temples, rethink the way you're doing things. Pray through them. Seek advice from people who love you and care for you. And listen to those who are already telling you if you do too much to slow down or to ask for help. Another thing that I decided to do is to ask for more help, and I've already started. So it's hard for me to ask for help. That's another thing, but I've already started to do so. I'm starting to delegate responsibilities more, and even at work, trying to balance the way I do things at work, and so that it won't be too much. Now, there will be some days that will be less balanced. You know, I'm a teacher. It's not always going to be perfect, but I am intentional about it. I'm very intentional about it. So one of the decisions that I've come to after praying and just thinking through what else could I do to help me with my self-care is to lessen my podcast to every other week. My podcast and episodes and YouTube videos to every other week, so that I could intentionally take every other weekend to do something for me, like for my rest, for my healing, for whatever it is that I have to do, and it's still a work in progress, but to take that time every other weekend and not have to worry about editing every weekend, which is what I do. And I do it while the baby's sleeping and while everybody's sleeping, I do it. And it usually doesn't really disturb our time together, but at the same time, that takes me from doing XYZ for me. So whatever I have to do to get my self-care into a better place, I'm doing it, because I'm tired of saying no to the holy temple of God. I'm tired of treating my temple like garbage almost. I mean, maybe that's a big word, but I feel like so convicted by just, you know, realizing what I have been doing and what I have not been doing, neglecting myself, neglecting my body. And not fully, like I said, I don't want to come up here and say I just didn't do anything for myself, because like I said, I did make some changes, but it's not enough. It wasn't enough. It was not enough. It was still neglectful. And so I got tired of it. I'm done with it. I apologized to God for mistreating his body this way. And I am taking the steps. I already started taking the steps to care for me, to know when to say no, I can't, or maybe not today, another day, and when to say yes, I can, or when to say yes, but I need a little help, or have a plan B if I can't do this. If you are not really taking seriously caring for your temples, please do so. And know that you are all on my heart. You know, I may be lessening this podcast to every other week, but every week I think of you ladies. Every single week I am trying to build. God has called me. This has been a calling to help build a community of Christian women to share with each other what we are learning in our walks, you know, to dream and do for the glory of God and to share that with one another. And I will continue, God willing, to have guests on here, Christian women who will come on the show and share what they're doing for the glory of God, how they're using their gifts and their talents for the glory of God. And I'm going to continue to do so as long as God continues to call me to do that. But I also hear his call to saying at least right now, at this time in this season, to slow down and do every other week, and maybe in the future pick up to every week if that's what his will is. So I'm listening to his voice, and I wanted to let you all know that this will be a bi-weekly podcast from here on out until further to be determined. And that's it. If you want to get in touch with me, you can connect with me on Instagram at Driven in Her Purpose. You can connect with me on, of course, you can always send me a message on my email. It's on my website, driveninherpurpose.com. And if you are encouraged by this podcast in any way, please do leave me a star rating, hopefully 5-star if you feel I deserve it, and a written review. If you have just a few minutes, just take some time to do a review. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you're watching on the channel, please comment below. What do you think? What do you think about these things that I'm sharing? How can you relate if you can relate? And also, I'd love to hear from you. What are you doing to help your own self-care? Or maybe you're not doing so, and how are you going to commit to yourself and to God taking better care of yourself? So that's my question to you.